Hello and welcome to Media Dialogues with Storyboard 18. I am Delshad Irani and today I am in conversation with a true media maven of India's advertising industry and one of the key figures shaping its future, not only in terms of cultivating next-gen talent but also helping define the rules by which media companies play. Sinha is the CEO of leading media investments group IPG Media Brands, which has firms like Lodestar, Initiative and BPN, driving media planning and buying for the country's biggest advertisers. He is also the current chairman of industry body BARC, which is the Broadcast Audience Research Council. In this special candid chat with us, Sinha shares his outlook and hopes for the advertising industry while giving us a take on the sweeping changes disrupting ADEX and the media landscape. Hello and welcome to the show, Shashi. It's lovely to have you here.
Thank you very much for inviting me, and those are lovely words to introduce.
So let me just kick off, Shashi, with asking you something, a contemporary question really. You know, we are seeing the confluence of two mega events this year. 2024 has started with a bang. We have the elections and we have the IPL. Put on your hat as a leading media planner in the country and tell me what you are seeing in terms of, you know, what your clients are doing, the ADEX that you're seeing. What is the play looking at like right now?
Firstly, from a consumer point, you know, it's a very great opportunity because there's so much of consumption. Cricket and politics and news are the two big tentpoles on what consumers, take in. So I think it's a great opportunity. It happens once in 4 or 5 years. Last there was 2019. So I think there can't be anything bigger than this. Two big tent poles, great opportunity for viewers to consume. As you know, India is one of the most fragmented markets in the world. There are hardly any programs with I think only 4-5% programs more than one rating. So here, these two big tent poles and opportunities is great for advertisers. Here, they those who want to look at big outlays will look at IPL. Those who want to look at sustained outlays will look at elections. The elections is now started, it's going to be 6 weeks to 8 weeks. So there can't be a better opportunity for launches, for new brands to come in.
Absolutely. Let me just dig in a little bit into ADEX here right now, Shashi. What have you seen already sort of at the start of the financial year? How has the ADEX sort of surged? Where are you noticing that uptick even in terms of, you know, advertiser categories perhaps and media, of course?
So we are coming out of a somewhat tough year. Categories like e-com, the digital companies, the startups, they were all well funded. The big edtech companies, they went a bit slow for obvious reasons.
And they disappeared this year?
They disappeared, yeah. When I say a bit slow, it's a euphemism for them disappearing. But I think CPG is always there. Thankfully, CPG input costs are now under control. So the margins are okay. So they will come back. You see a different kind of, auto companies last year had waiting periods of 7 months, 6 months, so they were not advertising. Now those, because supply chains are back in place, so they're there. Normally there are 30-40 auto launches in a year. So I think there are many things which point to good companies are robust. They have the bandwidth to spend, and that we'll see that happening. And from our side, there are these two big properties which are there. So I think the first 6 months look very rosy, rosy in a context of compared to last year. It may not be, but the global economy is what it is. So
Right.
to bear that in mind. And with what's happening now in the last 2-3 days, may temper down, if oil prices go up. But I'm still optimistic that there will be a fair degree of investment in advertising to generate demand in the next 3 months, 4 months.
So a slightly sort of future facing question here. Of course, we are seeing this surge in spends in H1. What sort of impact then do you see in H2 happening? And even on, the great Indian festival season, it's a little bit sort of future facing, but tell me what kind of impact do you foresee given the surge right now?
So there are two aspects to this. One is, as you said, the festival. There is a positivity around that, so that like every year there will be, there will be increase in spends, increase in consumption. The other thing is, whatever the outcome of the elections, if there is a stable government in place, finally Indians believe a lot in psychology and sentiment. This is a country of emotions and rationality is less, but even if all over the world, it's a lot more emotion. So if there's a stable government in place, whatever the outcome is, so I'm not going to opine on which way the results will go. But if it's a stable government, that itself will add to the sentiment. So I think for both these reasons, the outcome of the elections as well as the festive season which comes. I think it augurs well.
And given that, you know, this year also, and this has been happening for a couple of years now, there's a lot more emphasis on measurement. And I wanted to know, given again against the backdrop of the IPL and elections, how has the focus on measurement changed this year? And where are advertisers and media mavens like yourself, where are you seeing maximum ROI coming from in terms of the media?
So, you know, just now at this point in time, unfortunately, TV is the only body which is measured, the TV rating is the only thing which is measured by a third party body, which is BARC, as you called her in the beginning. Digital, there is no third party measurement in place, which is industry body. There may be one-off things happening. Print had an industry measurement, which has been dormant for the last 4 years after COVID for a variety of reasons, obvious reasons. I think I'm a big believer in measurement, and being part of many industry bodies, including BARC. I think if you allow me, I'll go step by step into each of these. I think print, we are trying to revive print measurement, and hopefully with Shailesh Vikram and a few of us on the body, we are hopeful that, you know, we'll get print measurement off the ground. Print measurement, not only print, it also gives the state of play of all media in India. So it's a larger measurement, the readership survey as it's called. So that's one. I'm most excited by what BARC is doing. You know, BARC has always been the favorite whipping boy for everyone the last so many years. As I was saying to them in a meeting a few days back, and let me share some of the plans there. So ratings are stabilized. So I'm not saying that, you know, they are up or low, but they're stable. So in a way, stability is what people want. They can predict, they can plan. So after ratings in play, there are 2-3 big initiatives we are doing, you know, and which have a far-reaching impact by the time we do. It may take us 4, 5, 6 months to do, but we have set it into motion. The first thing is the way BARC was, our technology was structured. You know, all ratings were individual. So individual means you have to press buttons. So you won't go into a home, like your home and my home, chances you not allow a meter to be put, because I'm not going to allow button pressing. So there's a board and the TechCom, we have decided that this needs to change. At least, and you know what therefore we are doing is, the lacuna was that premium homes were not being measured. And premium homes were not being measured, therefore broadcasters not doing content for them. And consequently, that's why OTT sprung in, because, you know, doing content. So broadcasters doing content, as they call the lowest common denominator. So doing for the masses, but for those homes they were not being done. So what we have embarked upon, and credit to the BARC team, Nakul and his team, they have developed a meter which is a cheap meter, some 6,000 rupees or so, and it will be put in homes, set meter. So it will measure, it won't measure individual, it will measure what the household is watching. We'll put it in premium homes, say 5,000, 6,000, whatever numbers we start with. So you'll get to know what homes like yours and mine are watching, you know. So in a way, allow broadcasters to do content there, whether they put the OTT content or develop fresh content there. The second big thing we are doing is that we are, you know, we have the ability to measure CTV. So this big trend of CTV, how does it play with television, and are they similar? For example, IPL, how much viewership is on TV, how much is on the CTV part of it, all that, and sometimes it's TV, sometimes it's CTV, that aggregate can be got. And the third thing is BARC, most people don't know, has been running a digital panel of 12,000 homes for almost now, you know, 6-7 years. So we're trying to activate that. So I'm very excited.
Activate
the digital panel.
Digital panel.
So you know, so if we can start measuring TV plus digital in some manner, this won't happen overnight, but at least we have started making the movement, and the board is aligned. The board has given approval. So I think in the next 6-7 months, before the year is end, I mean, if I'm optimistic, that before the year ends, you'll see a lot of this happening. So really exciting. If we can pull off even 70% of what I've outlined, between the print readership, between the 3 steps you're taking on the TV side, it'll be great. It'll be a remarkable change for the country, the way measurement has happened, and it'll allow us to then build on this in the future.
Okay. And while we are on BARC and measurement, then let me also ask you some of the sort of recent developments that have happened in terms of having multiple rating agencies, as the telecom regulator TRAI has suggested. What's your take on that?
No, absolutely. I mean, so I'll give you 2 answers. I think the regulator is right in saying there should be multiple rating agencies. They should be in whatever form and measure, because they want free. They don't want control with any one person. Absolutely. The advantage BARC has, there are 2-3 advantages BARC has. Firstly, it's an industry body. So all the stakeholders are aligned. They're bought into it, you know, and therefore, if I may say so, and I don't want to be, I want to be careful in this. It has the incumbency advantage. You know, the fact that you have a thing. And then this is expensive business. People don't want to pay for measurement. One of the reasons measurement is not taken off, as you see on the print side, is people are paying. So for people to pay for both is going to be tough. But in principle, I don't think there's a problem because competition breeds people to become better. You get more adept. So in principle, for TRA to say that you have multiple agencies, I think is a perfect call. There's no issue at all.
And in terms of weekly data, what's happening? Are we going to see that see a return for that for the news genre? What's happening
So
there?
So it's a tricky one you caught me on. The way I am candid, if you ask me personally, I believe that unrolling makes sense. I personally believe that there are always compromises. So when we started rolling, we fixed one problem, but there were other attendant problems. So personally, if you ask me, unrolling is something I would advocate. Now, BARC is the industry body which has got many stakeholders. The government has a play in this. So I think at some point in time, maybe when the elections are over, maybe when the dust settles, people will be more open to that. But my personal view is we should have unrolled data. So it's not only a BARC decision. It's a decision to be made by various stakeholders, if you understand what I'm trying to say.
Yes.
And I'm hopeful after the elections that should be in place.
Again, while we're on the subject of this, let me also ask you another question on now ADEX. So earlier this year, of course, we saw multiple media agencies come out with their projections for ADEX in the country. All very wildly varying projections. What's your take on this, Shashi? I know we've briefly spoken about this previously, but where's the gap? What is happening, and what do you use?
So these are estimates. Firstly, there are worthy colleagues of mine who put them out, so I will not say anything about them. We also do some of this stuff, but the way the process is, let me explain. So there's no way to formally estimate. It's very difficult, and the challenge comes in digital. You see digital. So if you notice, if you see all the 3 or 4 public releases which have come out from the networks, TV, print, there'll be not too much of a variation. There is variation, but it's within tolerable limits. The maximum variation is in digital.
In digital, yes.
And digital, the reason for that is there's a large mass of digital consumption or advertising addicts coming in from SMEs. That's very difficult to monitor. You see, we are equipped to monitor, say, top 300, 400, 500 advertisers.
Right.
They are the guys, if you see television as a medium, those 400 advertisers probably spend 90% of the money on television. It's very easy to monitor within a play. Digital, almost 40% of spends are coming in from SMEs, FSMEs, which is very difficult for any network to monitor. So I think there will be a scope for, even the consultants are putting it out, FICCI, NY puts out. But very difficult to figure out what the numbers are. There will be error because of the way. Then within digital, not only is SMEs and small advertisers, there is also there's also performance. And performance again becomes very difficult to monitor. There's no way. So I think that it's a cumbersome exercise, So we don't embark on it. If you notice, we never put out anything in the public space because we know it's fraught with error.